things off here, Adam, with New York. As we know, Saturday got things going over there in New York, and it was a long time coming, but man, it's finally here.
It is. It's here, and as anyone in New York will tell you, there is absolutely no ignoring it. When we reach the point in terms of the cultural Rubicon where we've crossed over to Conan O'Brien tweeting out on Sunday, I haven't seen a sports betting ad in 7 minutes. Am I dead? Then clearly the sports betting launch was seen by all in New York. 4 operators launched their sports books. There are another 5 to come. That'll be on a rolling basis as those are available. But DraftKings, along with FanDuel and Rivers and Caesars, all getting going here in New York. And from all accounts, especially what we saw from GeoComply, which of course measures the amount of times that folks attempted to log on, we saw 17 million geolocation pings around the New York area over just the first weekend of sports betting in New York, which obviously shows the appetite was not just about those who were going to New Jersey to place their wagers. There are many more folks in New York who are interested in legal sports betting. They're going to have a number of options here before long. Another one of the questions we had, were the bonuses going to be as generous as in some other places? Well, early on, when you've got Caesars offering 4 figures and some still pretty generous bonuses from the other companies as well, then you would say, yeah, it looks like the bettors might still be able to get in here pretty well on the early side. Now, we do have an article up at Legal Sports Report right now where a UK-based analyst firm called it, quote, mutually assured destruction if all of the operators continue to bonus at the level that they are with the tax rate in New York. But as anyone in the sports betting world will tell you, that's a problem for another day.
Yes. I mean, I was going to say it's so easy when you come out that at the very beginning, but it's like, listen, we knew what was going to happen at the very beginning. Yes, it's not sustainable over the course of the lifetime of what's going on there, but I mean, everybody knew what was going on. I saw the sensationalized headline as well. Dustin, I just did some cursory kind of looking around, just Google Trends, Google things like that or whatever. Like, yeah, outside of just the pings that we know from all of that, I mean, even on the internet, I mean, people were, this was as massive a thing as we thought it was going to be. I mean, I was just looking and everybody was trying to figure out what was going on there. And I think this goes to show too, you know, a lot of people that are just way too close to the sun were like making all these snide comments of like, yeah, like this will, like 90% of people that are making their, you know, that are signing up for sports books today, like this is really their first bet they've ever made, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like, listen, man, when you live in the bubble, I get it. Yeah, like all you see is what's inside the bubble. But no, this is a huge, massive thing. There are a lot of people who aren't going to go out of their way to seek out how to go place a bet. But if it's very easy for them to do right in front of them, then yes, they will take the plunge.
Yeah, one person on the sports betting Twitter posited that there were 0 people who placed their first sports bet ever in New York. I will happily take the over for whatever amounts. You're like, give it. There are people who placed their first bet, whether I mean, you know, with a sports book at least.
Yes.
You know, maybe not. Maybe you've done it with friends or whatever. But I 100% guarantee you, this is the first time for a lot of people because. Yeah, you got inundated with ads. You have legal options that are very easy for you to get into right now. You're not going to not everybody's going to their local bookie in New York or going offshore, which is not easy to do all the time. So yeah, this is big. I think the other thing that I'm seeing in the chatter and just like numbers and things like that we're seeing, I think Caesars for the first time is really in the conversation with the others. Like DraftKings and FanDuel. You know, I think they have a huge advantage in New York because they made huge pushes in DFS. They have the databases already. Mm-hmm. They don't have to spend quite as much to acquire new customers. They already have a lot of these new customers. But I think Caesars really kind of moved the needle. They're in there with Rivers and DraftKings and FanDuel, like Adam said. And I'd say they're. I mean, I'm not going to say they're 1 or 2, but I think they're closing the gap real quickly. And again, from those ubiquitous ads, like you see in Caesars ads on national broadcasts all the freaking time. I can't turn on a sports event without seeing Caesars right now. They are paying heavily for the customer acquisition and to get their name out there, but they're doing it. And you know, the other example, just saw them sign a deal with Michigan State, be their official sportsbook and online casino provider today too. So it's you know, there's a lot going on in New York. With MGM not in yet, they're a little bit behind. but they've been, arguably 3 or 2, depending on what market they've been in there. So lots going on, and yeah, this is a big deal. And just a pure number of people that can bet on New York. Yes, you're counting on large numbers, right? You're losing money by doing these, but you're getting customers and millions of customers potentially in the long run for New York if you're in the early days.
And I have 4 words for you there, Adam, as to I'll count that first as 1 word. Dang, maybe it's 5 words. Whatever. JB Smoove and Cooper Manning. That's what's going on in New York right now. Everybody loves Cooper. Self-deprecating humor is the way to go. Love the fact that he's the other Manning in all of these commercials. Well done on Cooper Manning. I'm glad that he's finally getting some camera time himself.
I like that the plan seems to have been for Archie Manning that Cooper was the one who didn't have the athletic talent. So we'll let the other 2 build up the brand for 25 years, and then we'll bring in Cooper on the back end, perfectly ready to go.
Yeah.
Just a couple of quick things to add to what we were talking about here. I'm not going to give the professional sports bettor who put that 0% number out there the credibility of even saying his name, but he's an idiot. He's an absolute stone-cold moron, and I hope he's listening to this to hear those words out of my mouth, because that is one of the stupidest things I've ever heard anyone say about the legal sports betting market. The idea that everybody who was going to bet in New York was already betting somewhere else shows a complete fundamental lack of understanding of the dynamics of the legal market. So stay offshore. Stay exactly where you've been, and leave us the hell alone with your dumbass commentary.
If anyone's wondering how Adam feels about that, you can just rewind the last 30 seconds of the podcast, and it will be certainly beat into your skull. But I mean, listen, look, I have anecdotal evidence for this, which is just, it's not even in New York, it's in Louisiana, where it is very hard still to make a bet. By the way, it's still not mobile in Louisiana, and I have friends of mine who have never bet before who are actually making the trip down to the little crappy casinos to bet, like in these various places. So I mean, like not everybody is going to go out of their way to make a bet, but the easier that it becomes to make a bet, then the more likely they are to make a bet. And I think that if you just really think that through, then you come to that conclusion pretty logically.
I have one tiny footnote to New York too, and I like to absolutely crap on sports betting, social media, and commercials. I do think the Caesars commercials have gotten a little better, but they also did a thing. It wasn't a commercial, but Kenny Mayne. Did you guys see this? Kenny Mayne doing the servers coming in on a plane to New York for Caesars. Absolutely hilarious. I thought they had Kenny Mayne doing a live shot, like a plane coming in with the servers. The servers are gift wrapped. It's amazing. It was really good content. I enjoyed it. I'm not the target audience, but I enjoyed it.
We also have a story up at Legal Sports Report right now talking about the deluge of advertising, which, to the point of what Dustin was saying, Caesars certainly was among the tops in impressions for folks in terms of those ads nationally over the weekend.